Hello and welcome to a short tutorial on how to create a design to cut on the Carvey. First you'll go to easel.inventables.com. Click Sign In through Inventables. If you already have an account, sign in. If not, you'll need to create an account. New users will be taken to an example project for an introduction. You can click on the easel icon in the top left corner to be able to create a new project. Click on New Project to begin. The first thing we want to do is give our project a better name than Untitled. So click on the Untitled name and change it to something that makes sense. Please include your name in the project. Although Carvey can work with many materials, for this example we're going to be using the scrap wood in the lab. It is actually cedar, but cedar is not among the materials listed, so soft maple is the closest we can come. So choose soft maple from the materials list. Then we are going to use an 1/8 inch straight cut bit to cut the wood. It leaves nice edges and cuts well. Finally, in order to prepare for cutting, we also need to input the material dimensions. Now, the piece of material I am using is actually 5.5 inches wide, 5.5 inches tall, and 0.52 inches deep. You need to measure your specific piece of wood and make sure that you enter the correct dimensions. Do not assume that the piece of wood that you're using is exactly the same as mine. The easel software has built-in shapes you can use like squares, triangles, and stars, or you can import images, and you can use their icons or text as well. So for example, I can use any of these icons or symbols that I find here. For example, if I click on this icon, it will automatically be placed on my material. I can then adjust it from there, or I can delete it and add something else. Let's say I want to add an image. Images you want to use to carve may not be very detailed. Otherwise, they will not carve correctly. Because the bit is 1/8 of an inch, you cannot have any lines narrower than that. So I recommend doing an image search and using the tools to search black and white and using line drawing or clip art. This image here is a good image to use. This one would be okay except for the fact that it says Shutterstock behind it. We don't want images that have watermarks. So clip art, again, I find that same little image, and that one will work pretty well. So I click on the image, then I right-click on the image and save image as. Pop-up, I give the image a better name, and I save it to my desktop so it's easily accessible. Then I return to the easel interface. I click on Import, and I click on Image Trace. Then I click on Upload File. I choose my bird and drag it in there, and it uploads. Because I chose a simple design, I don't really have to do any changing to it, but you could, if you needed to, use some of the different options here to change your design. Then click Import. I'm shrinking down the bird to fit better on my piece of material, and I'm looking at the preview to see what it looks like depending on the different settings I use. Looking closely at the preview, I can see that there will be a little tiny piece of material left in the beak. I don't really want that. I think that would look kind of funny and would probably break off rather easily. So I'm trying some different outline options, inside, on path, and honestly, the on path seems to be the best, but I still can't get rid of that little piece. I also have a little part up on the top where it's very tiny, and I think again that would be easy to break later on. So I want to adjust the actual image. I click on the image itself, and then I click on endpoints so that I can edit them. Now I can actually drag around the dots that represent points. And by doing so, I still see things update in the preview. So I've made the beak a little longer, even though I still have that piece there, and I've made the little tufts of feathers at the top a little longer as well, and I finally closed that up to get rid of that. Then I drag things around a little bit more to get rid of that little piece of material that was inside the beak. And now I think I like the way it's going to look. I actually want to cut the eye out of the piece of wood, so I want this to be a hole in my piece of wood. So I'm actually going to resize a little bit, and to make it precisely a 1-inch circle, I'm actually going to type in 1 for the height and the width. And that seems a little big, but that's okay. I'm trying to make this look like it's the entry hole for my birdhouse. So I actually go to the depth on the cut tab, and I tell it to cut all the way through. You can use the slider, or you can enter it in manually by putting in the numbers. I'm also going to adjust the depth of the lines that are the bird. So I don't want them as deep. So I click on the bird, and then I'm going to type in the specific depth I want. I only want them to be 0.2 inches deep. And you can see in the preview that they're a little shallower now. So the hole for the eye will cut all the way through because I told it to be the depth that's the same as the depth of the object, and the bird will not cut quite as deeply. I think I'm happy with that. I think it will work well. But first, before I submit it, I want to simulate it. And so I click on the simulate button, and I can see that it's going to take about 14 minutes. The first thing it's going to do is cut out the circle for the eye, and then it will go around and cut out the other parts. So you can see the tool path in the blue lines. So now I'm ready to submit. It's very easy to submit your file for printing. All you need to do is go to the File menu, click on Share, click on Shared with Link, and copy the link. Click Save, then go to the link for the print request form. So this is a personal project. It's for Carvey, and I paste the link right in there and click Submit. Your request will be added to the list. Make sure that you have labeled your piece of wood with your name so that I know which piece to actually cut. If you have any questions, please ask. Thanks for watching.